where I launched. All right, cool. All righty, we're gonna go ahead and share here. Ruben, you got the kind of screen management and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll take care of screen management. Let me just give a little bit of an intro here. So the Dubb roots, really the DNA of the company is built around real estate, actually, real estate agents. My wife is an agent, actually. She's a 10, 12-year veteran real estate agent. She's been at a bunch of companies. Recently, she's at Keller Williams. So I had a unique opportunity to actually go to the family reunion Keller Williams event, which was really great. And it was a really great validation to kind of understand where the future of real estate marketing is going, because there's so much technology now and there's a lot of disruption that's happening within this industry. I mean, this industry is not a new industry. In fact, it's the world's second oldest industry. I won't mention what the first one is. But what's really amazing is that we're living in a time now where we have access to technology in our pockets and on our computers. And that technology can really help us to forge relationships, and it can help us to, nurture our existing prospects, and frankly, to close more deals and to provide the most amount of value that we possibly can. So we come at this with a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion. We're coaches and we're teachers here, but we're also students. So a lot of the Dubb DNA, a lot of the Dubb platform is based on feedback. So we're very open to hearing feedback from you guys. A couple of things that I'm always excited to talk about when it comes to real estate and using Dubb specifically for real estate. Number one is the automations. You go to open houses, you have lead lists, you buy leads, you've got CSV files, you've got Facebook leads. You can create automated workflows to have drip sequences with videos in them. It's very easy to do. We want to get into that. The number two thing is that, look, what we're selling at the end of the day is real estate, but it's an emotion, it's a feeling. And when we watch videos of houses that we want to buy, we have an emotional connection to that. So the Dubb mobile app allows you to create real-time edited videos. You don't need to take these back to an editor. You don't need any fancy software. You can take the Dubb mobile app and you can record very quick clips as you kind of walk around the property and then send that to folks. Now, you can also do that for greeting videos. So we're going to get into the Dubb app a little bit more, and then the last thing that I wanted to say really was just this idea of getting into a cadence, into a practice of when you meet people, sending them videos, doing it on LinkedIn. We have an integration with LinkedIn, doing it on Gmail, sending videos to folks so that you can humanize your experience, so that you can streamline your communication. And then the last thing I'll say is that all of this is wrapped in conversions. We need to be focused on conversions, getting prospects, getting leads to convert into buyers and sellers, and then referrals. So everything in our mindset needs to be about creating content that converts. And that means the calendar integration. That means different ways that folks can engage with you, capturing video testimonials. There's a lot of things that Darius is going to get into here. So without further ado, unless you guys have questions, I'm going to have him jump right in.
Cool.
Good here. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Great. All right. So we're going to jump right in here. Get started. Start with my screen here. Okie dokie. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So the way that the platform works, as I mentioned, we're going to go in a couple of steps here. First is the creation of the videos. So as Ruben mentioned, we have a really kick-ass mobile app here. Ruben, do we have visual on me? And okay, cool. So the way the mobile app works is we can start the video facing this way. So say if we want to do an open house or a listing or something like that, say, hey guys, I just wanted to show you we're over here at open house, 444. Come on, check it by. And then you switch the camera around in the middle of that video. You can show, here's the front of the property, pause it, walk into the house. Now here's the main, living room, pause it. Here's the master bedroom, pause it. And then you can throw text, emojis, all kinds of stuff like on top of the video as you're creating it. And then at the end of it, flip the camera back around to say, hey, so that's the listing, come on by or come see it. Let me know if you want a tour, whatever, if it's an open house or listing. And then at the end of that, it's going to splice it all together into one seamless clip that's going to play, like as if you edited it. And like I said, it has text on the screen, emojis, lots of fun stuff if you want to go that route. Or you can just keep it clean in just the videos itself. The idea, though, is we don't have to export that and go into iMovie or anything like that to put these clips together. And then right from the mobile app, you can either send that to a list of people, you can send it to one through text message, through email, whatever we need to do. So that is going to be the mobile app. You can also take videos from your cell phone just like you normally would. You can turn it sideways, turn it whatever, record it, upload that to the Dubb app, and those are ready to go. And then you can also take any video you already have on your phone, and like you did something on Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, you can take those as long as you have the MP4 of it and upload it to Dubb. So that's for the mobile device. Basically, any video you want from anywhere, you can find the original file of the MP4. You can put onto Dubb or record using that really unique kind of functionality. There is this little tutorial section right here that if I go down to the bottom, there's 3 videos here really specific to the app. One is how that recording functionality works. It's kind of unique. It's kind of like how Snapchat or these newer tools work. So it's continuous recording or non-continuous recording. So definitely check that out. That'll cover the kind of recording functions. And then if you want to send it through text or send it through email, there's going to be some really detailed screen recordings showing exactly how to do that. It's going to be a little bit different on each device. So if you're on iPhone or Android, just slightly different because some devices have the ability to copy an image to your clipboard. Like you can just click the image and copy it to your clipboard. And I believe iPhones don't, but Androids do. So like I said, just a little bit different experience. Regardless, though, we still have that same function. Okay, so that's the mobile app. We covered mobile devices. The same thing goes with like an external camera. If you have a fancy camera like a GoPro or a DSLR, you can take videos from those and upload those. Just be aware there's about a 3 GB limit. So on a cell phone, that's 20, 30 minutes or more of footage. But on like a really high-end camera, that could be much shorter, 5 or 10 minutes. So just be aware of size, limitations. Okay. The next thing is the screen recorder. So as you can see here, this little Chrome extension, the way it works is it allows you to record your screen. All you have to do is give it a click, kind of opens up there as long as you're logged into it. Lots of different options here. So we have the full screen, current tab, camera only, which will kind of open up another thing. And then we can upload videos here. You'll also notice some buttons down here. This is just for microphone on or off, webcam on or off. You can have your profile picture there or your webcam, whichever you prefer. And then some additional controls here. Now, the screen recorder is really valuable for real estate for a couple of things. The most common things are things like contract walkthroughs. So anyone that does buyer's agreements, you should have one video in your library where you pull up your buyer's agreement and you as the agent goes through and says, okay, guys, this is what your buyer's agreement is going to be. Sign here for this. That's what this line means. This is why you're signing here, so on and so forth. So that way, whenever you get a new buyer, you have this video ready to go kind of on demand. They have much fewer questions and you're going to save a bunch of time. So contract walkthrough is one example. Another thing is things like website navigation. So say if you have a website where they can search for properties or do some other things, just a quick video showing people how to kind of use your website or maybe your mobile app or whatever you have, that can be useful as well. Anything where you're providing a visual is really where the screen recorder comes in. One of the most common and important applications, I would say, is like the newsletter application. So if you guys aren't reaching out to your sphere periodically, definitely missing out. We want to be tapping into our sphere of influence often. But a mistake that people will often make is when we're reaching out to the audience, or our audience, we're not providing value. So things like just listed or just sold, there's nothing wrong with that, but we're missing a lot of opportunity. So instead of just sending an email out saying just listed or sold or something more basic like, hey guys, we're doing business this year. What we can do is something a lot more valuable. So here's just a rough example of like a local report. This is not the best report, just something I typed into Google. You guys probably have access to some much better reports. I was got my license and I remember looking at some really detailed reports that are very zip code specific. So what you guys would do as an agent is find a nice report that's already been graphically designed, all the data's here, and then you're gonna come in with the Chrome extension and you as the agent, as the expert, as the local expert comes in and say, hey guys, I just wanted to share with you some recent data. If you're in the 91602, you're going to be looking at a 0.75% increase in whatever. And then conversely, if you're over here, you're going to be looking at a decrease. So now is going to be a good time to whatever. So that's kind of the concept, though, is instead of you having to come up with some amazing content or statistics or data to share, and instead of just sending the link to the client and saying, here, read this on your own time, you're probably not going to understand it or want to read it. Now we're, as the expert coming in, it's our voice, it's our inflection, us showing we know what's going on, we have our finger on the pulse of the market. All those great things that get to happen now happen through our newsletter. And it's a nice way of creating content for that newsletter without having to rack our brains or be really creative. Just find something out there existing, record that content as your own, and then share that with your list. And now we're providing value. Now we're providing expertise and really setting ourselves apart and showing people that we know what we're talking about, we know where the information's at. So that's another really common use case with the screen recorder. Of course, there's tons of other applications here. I would say just those are some of the most common. So things like contract walkthrough, website navigation, any type of visuals, and newsletters are another great application. So that's the screen recorder. As long as you have the Chrome extension installed, you're logged into it, that will be available. It does only work with Google Chrome, though. There's also a desktop recorder and some other things, probably not as important. I'd say you guys just focus on the Chrome extension. It's very automatic. It uploads right to your profile and does everything you need it to. But if for whatever reason you need to record some stuff on the desktop, we do have a desktop app, which is another way to record these videos. Okay, so we talked about the mobile, we've talked about the screen recorder, and then now integrations. So we can recreate webcam videos in a whole number of places. A, just on the website there, we can click the plus button. B, I have a question for you guys here. What system are we primarily using? I know Isaac was talking about maybe Salesforce. I think, what are we using primarily? What's the main email tool we're using for one-to-one? And then what's our CRM if we're doing, one-to-many or anything like that? What does that look like?
Salesforce and Google and Gmail.
Okay, so Gmail I'm hearing. Anything else?
Salesforce.
Okay, and then Salesforce. Great. Okay, so I'll definitely cover those two right now. So the integrations with both Gmail and Salesforce are going to be basically identical. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Here inside of Gmail and inside of Salesforce, when you go to compose an email, you're going to have a little Dubb icon right inside that tool. So in Salesforce, when you're composing an email, it'll be here, but in the toolbar, it'll look different. The Dubb icon will be the same though. And the way it works is all you do is you give it a click, gives you access to all of your existing videos. So for example, I mentioned some of those pre-recorded content. Like I have a tag of videos that is just my tutorials. So it's a nice way to keep certain videos organized, and I can insert those really quickly. And then you can also just stay organized by name or whatever. So here's what that looks like when you have a video already in your library, as I mentioned, like a buyer's agreement or a website navigation, something like that. I would say we can enter the email. So if you're sending one video to more than one person, the tracking becomes really crucial. We want to know if I'm sending one video to 5 people, which of those 5 people watched it? What percentage of the video did they watch? Did they click any links? Things like that are what we can track with Dubb. We just have to make sure that their email is in our database. So as you can see here, my email is already in our database, so I can just type in a few letters and it's going to be there. We can do a CSV import, Google or Outlook sync, lots of ways we can get the contacts into Dubb. We can also manually enter them. Video for Darius. So that's what it's going to look like right when it's inside of Gmail. So that was for an existing video. You can see I've inserted it, shows up as a nice little GIF, some personalization text on there. And then I mentioned the tracking. So if we want to track it, we got to enter that email. The other thing is we can record right from here as well. So just hit the button, click record, and then we're ready to go. I would hit record, and then now that video, as soon as it's done uploading, well, actually, I'll just take you through the process real quick. 3, 2, 1. Hey, thanks for all the questions, and here's the answers. So, we got some options here, some last minute stuff. So you can see mine already has attached a couple of call to actions by default, which I'll go into more when I'm talking about the customization. But you can make some last minute changes here, save those, and then that video takes us to that same menu we were just at, where I can enter the email for tracking, or I can put video for Bob on there, and then insert it. So that's how the extension works within Gmail. It's going to be the same exact way for Salesforce. So the same little Dubb icon in there. You give it a click. It opens up the library where we can select existing, record a brand new one. We can upload from our computer or wherever, and then we can also check on the activity reporting. As I mentioned, all the tracking. I'll get into more of this in just a bit. So now I think we've covered most of the ways to create. We talked about the mobile app and just mobile devices in general. We've talked about the screen recorders, good for Chrome. And then we've talked about the add-ons here, either in Salesforce or Gmail, wherever you guys are at. Can also be done just right from the website as well, or the Chrome extension. So just about anywhere you are, you have the ability to create these videos. As I also mentioned, you can take anything from an outside source. So that pretty much covers it for the creation. So let's go ahead and take a second. Any questions about creating videos, guys?
I have a question about if you put the email in for tracking,
Does everybody on that list see that that's there? Or
No, it's not like a BCC or anything like that. So the tracking will work a couple of different ways. I'll definitely cover the tracking here or towards the end about it. Really go into detail on it.
Okay.
If you're going to go into more detail, that's fine later. I was curious. So I saw how you would do tracking for one, but if say you were to send 5 or plus 5, how are you tracking for each of those emails?
Got it. Okay, yeah, we'll cover tracking here at the end. I'll go into real rich detail about how all the analytics and tracking works.
Okay. And one other question too is that we also use videos for one-to-one through text message a lot. Is there anything that?
Great. Yeah, I'll actually cover text messaging and distribution.
Okay.
So that'll be the last part. There's in distribution, we'll cover how the videos go out and then how the reporting and analytics work. So that will be saved for that last section.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Yep.
Can you embed a video into an email signature so that it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw that here. That's actually what my video email signature. Let me share my screen again.
I wasn't going to make sure.
Yeah. So you see my email signature here. I have my nice little greeting video embedded in there so that, if anyone clicks this, it actually takes them to my little greeting page where they can book a time, they can take action from there. Playlist video, like I said, this is actually the step we're going to cover right now is the kind of customization. But to answer your question, absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anything else? All right. So like I said, that's the creation, and this will be in the recording. So any questions you guys have, feel free to ask them after, or forget, or watch the video, whatever we got. Okay. Next is going to be the customization of the videos. So jump in here. All right. So the way that our platform works is, we can share these videos through any channel we want. We can share them through text message, social media, email, of course, you name it. So when we're sending these videos through these channels, there's going to be a couple of things. One is what the video looks like is going to be a little bit different depending on the channel we're sending it through, and then how that video works and how we're inserting it. All those things just a little bit different depending on the channel. So let's jump into it. Whenever you send a video through to somebody, it will always take them back to a Dubb video page. So regardless if it's going through email, text message, social media, they click the link, they click the image, it's going to take them back to a video page like this. So in an email, you get that nice little animated GIF preview. Here, let me see just one second. I have this one video I like to recycle. So as I mentioned, like recycling content is a very common thing to do. I was talking about the buyer's agreements and things like that. You can also have automation set up for like when you have lead generation, we want something to go out automatically. We'll cover that here in a second as well. So this is the back kind of window of this video. If I want to send this video through any channel, there's lots of ways I can do this. As I mentioned, we looked at the Gmail one. I can also send it right from here. And if I send this through email, it's going to look like this. So it has a still or an animated GIF with the personalization text on it. It'll also have the background and the fallback button here. So that's what it looks like in email. In text message, it's going to be a little bit different. It's either going to be just the link itself, or it will be the link with a still thumbnail. So by default, it's going to be just the link, and you'd have to attach the image separately. So you can see here we have a virtual assistant that sends text messages for us, and we send the still thumbnail with the link. So that's what it's going to look like. It will be for every device. So if you're sending iPhone to iPhone and you just send the link, it'll actually give you a little video preview in there. But it plays without sound, so it's kind of confusing. But it's just iOS software, so there's nothing we can really do about it. We can include that still thumbnail. It also can sometimes confuse people because there is a play button on there, but it doesn't actually click because unfortunately we can't send clickable images through SMS. That's not just us, it's just the rule for SMS. You can't send like a linked image through a text message at this point. So it's going to separate the link and the image. So like I said, it's up to you whether you want to send the link or the image and the link. I always recommend a preface of at least one line of text when sending a link though. Say, hey, this video is this, I'm sending this video for this, or here's what you can expect is basically the idea there. We want to give them an idea of what it is. Otherwise, it's just a link and they don't know what it is and they might not click it. So definitely give at least one line of text and say, hey, check out this video. So that's what it looks like through text message. Now through social media, it's going to be slightly different as well, whether it's through LinkedIn or through Facebook, just slightly different here. So for LinkedIn, you're going to see a still thumbnail like this and the title to the video. This is unique here. So if you're sending it through Facebook, you'll see the link, any personalization you've included, and the still thumbnail. So just be aware of that. If you're sending it through social media, it does show the actual link and the thumbnail image. If it's through email, it's the animated GIF, no link, and personalization text. And through text message, it is either just the link or the link in the image. Okay, so that's what it looks like in all these channels when we're sending it through. Same thing goes if we're sending it through Salesforce or anything like that. It's going to be still email, so it's going to look like this. And now when they click these, as I mentioned, it takes them back to a Dubb video page, very similar to this, except for it's going to be all of your guys' own stuff. Your own custom URLs here, your own logos, your logo as a watermark if you choose it there, custom background image. And then now the bulk of the page is actually going to be right here in this playlist, the video, and the CTAs. That's really the primary purpose of these video pages. After all, when we're creating videos, it is to get people to take action. Yes, we're trying to maybe educate them a little bit, maybe inform them, maybe even entertain them, which is always great, but not always easy. But ultimately, we're creating these videos to get them to do something very specific. And that's what we want to build these pages to do. So what we can do here, as I mentioned, all the branding and stuff, that's all set up one time, as well as the call to actions we can set up as a default. But depending upon what we want them to do or what the purpose of the video is, that's going to help us structure this. So for real estate, one of the most common things is inbound lead conversion. So we have, realtors, Zillow, Facebook leads, wherever those, or maybe even open houses, wherever those leads are coming from, we have the lead source coming in, and our job is to convert that lead into an appointment and into a client. And, depending on the source, there's like if it's a referral, or as I mentioned, an online lead source or open house, there's always a slightly different message. So let's focus on a couple things right now. You guys are doing a lot of online lead conversion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So let's focus on that. So regardless of whether, let me get a little bit more specific. Is there some specific channels? Is it only Facebook or Zillow or Realtor, or is it all the above? Where are the lead sources primarily coming from?
All the above. We're focusing a lot on Zillow right now, but all
okay. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to have these pages really optimized for that type of lead. For example, if they're coming from Zillow, you'll see a couple of things here. One is a customer success button. And what that is social proof. So if I have a lead coming from Zillow, this would say read Zillow reviews. Because if they're coming from Zillow, maybe they're comfortable on Zillow, there's a reason they're there. And seeing that social proof of what other people have to say about you on Zillow can really be beneficial. So social proof is a huge part of these inbound lead conversion pages, or just conversion pages in general, because ideally we want them to take the ultimate action, which is, to call us or text us or begin the dialogue or set an appointment with us. But if they're not quite ready for that, which these online leads most of the time aren't, they're not going to pick up the phone, very not often that they do. They might respond to a text, and then they might, respond to an email. So that's the idea, is we want to warm these people up with whatever we can. So social proof does huge here. It's probably one of our most clicked buttons across all industries, especially real estate. And so depending upon where that source is coming from, it can be in our best interest to make sure all the assets on this page are tying into that. So if it's Facebook leads, we have a button that says read our Facebook reviews. And if it's for Zillow, then a button that goes to our Zillow reviews. In addition to just a button that goes to written reviews, we are huge on video, obviously. And so we always recommend using video testimonial whenever you're able to. So historically, it's been pretty difficult to collect video testimonial. With Dubb, we can do it really easy. They can just click a button there, gives them access to the camera, whether they're on their phone or computer, and then they can send you that recording. And then you can download that recording. It's going to be here under your video replies. You can download that. You can put it on a playlist. You can embed it on a website or landing page. Excuse me. So video testimonial is huge here. I highly recommend having that if everyone, corporate approves or teams approve, and especially if you have a really good one, because a convincing story, because real estate is really based on trust and emotion, and that's what we're trying to elicit here. And so a story does a really good job of doing that. And so a powerful testimonial from a happy client can do wonders in terms of warming people up to want to work with us.
Yeah, that's a great point, Darius. I wanted to kind of chime in on something. My background in sales, one day someone came up to me and I was sending an email, and this email said, "I'd love to take a time to take you through this demo." That was my kind of sales pitch. I'd love to, right? And someone saw that I was writing that, and they were a really great sales coach. And they said, "Do you think that person cares about what you love? They don't know you. They're a prospect. You're a salesperson. You're selling something. You're trying to make money. Do you think they care about what you love?" And this person was being a little harsh on me, right? But it was actually a really valuable learning that I got out of that, where we have a tendency to, because we have goals, because we want to thrive, because we're ambitious, because we want to take care of our families and grow and earn and be rewarded for our efforts, and of course provide a lot of value. You know, we have a tendency to be in our heads and to say, this is what I want. I want this, I want this, I want this. But this single piece of information that I learned from this person was that it's not about what we want, it's about what they want and what they need and the value that they need. They're looking to buy a home, they're looking to sell a home. This is one of the most valuable, you know, large financial transactions that they'll do of their life. And video is a really great way to convey that you care as a consultant. You know, it's not about ABC, always be closing, it's always be consulting. You know, the best real estate people and the best salespeople are the best consultants. So, you know, my point here is just leverage the video platform to convey that value, to show the empathy, to show the compassion, to show you that you know about their market, that you know about comps in their neighborhood, that you know about a house that was sold close by to theirs at a top market price, that you know that there's, you know, 3 things that they could do to their home to increase the value of it. Leverage video because it will be your best friend. The other thing I was going to say to Darius's point is that it's really not about what we say in terms of proving ourselves. It's about what other people say. It's about those testimonials. This is why reviews on Yelp and on Google and all these channels, Facebook, these are so critically important. The value of getting a video testimonial is that you get 2 testimonials. You get a video testimonial, which you can use in a playlist that auto plays after you send them a video, and we can get into that a little bit. But you also get a text testimonial out of it. And that text testimonial can be put on your email signature or your Yelp page or your website, so on and so forth. So leverage video to share that empathy, to share that compassion, to share all the information that you know, to provide value to people, but then ultimately have people tell your hero stories through video. Specifically, use the video reply function. Send your best clients, send 10 or 20 or 30 of your best clients the video reply CTA. And Darius can get into that and ask them, say, listen, we had a great experience. We went through this. It was treacherous waters, but we came out with a great transaction. Would you be willing to give me a testimonial? 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 60 seconds. It does not matter what the length is. They can use their phone. They can use their webcam. It's very easy. It does not have to be produced. But capture that video testimonial and then save it and then start to use that in your larger ecosystem. Produced videos, playlist videos, videos that are for sales, website, embed these videos on your web pages, and so on and so forth. So that was just my quick note there. Any questions on that?
That's great.
Great.
Cool. All right, so we're still here, which is, like as I mentioned, a really crucial part of these pages is going to be that social proof. It is the most clicked button across basically all our users. Some people it's case studies, some people it's testimonials. Every industry has their own kind of social proof aspect, but it's really valuable at this stage. So playlist or behind a button. The other thing, as I mentioned, the audience is really important here. You always want to keep them in mind. So whether it's buyer, whether it's seller, whether it's old leads or cold leads or hot leads or whatever the situation is, you want to keep your list segmented as best as you can. Some of us are better organized than others. Some of us use systems better than others. But segmentation is important, and keeping the audience in mind, and these pages designed or these videos for that audience is really crucial. So as I mentioned, buyer leads, seller leads, there's going to be a different social proof button there, whether you're on buyers or sellers, because sellers can be a little bit more picky about who they're working with. And they're like, well, I that's great you're working with buyers, but I need someone that's really good at selling homes. And so if we have that social proof here on this page that talks about the selling and the success with that, that's going to work a lot better in terms of convincing them than showing how many buyers we work with. So that's all I mean there is really optimizing these pages for the goal that we have in mind. So buyer leads, seller leads, social proof. And the other thing is, what are we ultimately after? So I always love a calendar integration. If you guys don't already have one set up, Calendly is a completely free tool. You can connect just like this, have your calendar on the page. You get reminders, they get reminders. It's a very automatic way of keeping appointments. So highly recommend using a scheduling software. It's just a nice way to capture conversion of the lowest hanging fruit. The people that are ready for that, you'll be able to capture them here. The other thing is whatever you're most open to. Like if you want text messages, which I know is more popular in real estate than most things, you want your phone number in this email signature. Maybe we even have a phone number or a text message CTA. Just be aware that if the text message CTA, it does not appear on desktop. So if you're text messaging your videos to your clients, they're opening them on their phone, and that's okay. That button will be there, and they can text you back or shoot a video or just call you or whatever. So just be aware of whatever we're trying to get the person to do on the other end. We want to build this page to do that. So if you want them to call you back, not only in the video do we say, my contact information is below, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever you're open to. That's an important part of the video, but then also having the information down here for them to take that action. So your email's here or your phone number's here. You have a button to get them to take action. That's the overarching concept here is each video has a specific purpose, and we want that video page to be built kind of for that purpose. And now this might seem like a lot of work, or, I have to build these pages, but the way our platform works is it's actually done very automatically. So as I mentioned earlier, we have some default settings. You saw that video I created. It automatically attached these 3 CTAs. It built the whole page. And then so at the very last moment, you saw I can change those CTAs. So I can tweak the page to be optimized at the very end. So like I just hit record. Hey, Mr. Buyer, I wanted a video for you. Or, hey, Mr. Seller. And at the last second, I can attach different CTAs like buyer success stories or seller success stories at the last second. And in that way, this can be done on the fly, very automatically. The only real amount of work is the very first setup of the page. So getting the logos and the branding, which you guys will already have done, contact information, and then building some of those buttons. So links to our social proof, collecting those video testimonials. That's really the bulk of the homework is up front. And then once we have these resources and assets available, we can build them like that, and they're readily accessible. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys is I always keep pointing back to the tutorial center here. It's really important and crucial because it has these videos that are nice, short little videos showing you exactly how to do what we're describing. So here's how to collect written reviews, and here's how to collect video testimonials. So it goes really specifically into step-by-step instructions of how to build the video, what you're going to say, how the button works, all that stuff. So be sure to cover those. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time. Okay, so back to the pages. Finally, okay, well, we're almost done here with customization. So we're talking about having a page be optimized for whoever we're reaching out and why we're reaching out. The idea is to have everything set up as a default so that it can be done as automatically as possible, so that we're really efficient with our time. So we also have some things like some email templates coming out, so you can send out like fancier emails instead of just like a plain text one like this with a video in it. It'll have some fancy templates. So that stuff's forthcoming. I would say it's going to be a little bit more advanced and more about distribution. So let me think. I think I've covered just about everything for customization. So we talked about when we create the videos, all the ways we can create them. And now we've talked about how to customize them, not only for how they show up in the email, text, or social media, but what actually happens when they click those, and customizing the video page itself for what we want our recipients to do. What I recommend is, as I mentioned, I have some default videos. The pages are already built. They're ready to go on demand. I can just launch those out. And then the other ones will be things like just recording them on the fly. So as soon as I get an inquiry or whatever, I can just send those out. With you guys, I know we mentioned that's automation. So if we're doing things like, actually, you know what, that's distribution. Let's just stay focused on creation. Any questions? Yeah, sorry, there you go, Ruben. Yeah, any questions at all about creation?
Nope.
Good.
All right, and customization. Sorry, any questions about how to kind of set those pages up?
Are you going to go into how you make the playlist of the other videos? Like if you're setting
Actually, yeah, I can cover that in real quick. And actually, there's that little video that says how or why to use a playlist. I'll point to both those. So let me save that. So playlist was one. Anything else?
I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, all right. So let me jump back in there. So yeah, playlist is actually the only thing we don't have set up as a default right now. So as I mentioned, if I hit record, it builds that whole page. The only thing that won't be included is the playlist. So that you would have to add on per video, which is just done right here. So here's where you can add, like I said, every video has its own little video management page, just like this, where you can look at the analytics and the design. You can trim it, stuff like that. Under details, right here is where you add the playlist. So all you have to do is you can click the plus button, either search for the name of the video or select it based on the name or thumbnail here. If I click it, it automatically adds it. You'll see it says save there. And then now that'll be added to the playlist. So I can delete that one. I can have as many videos there. I think five is actually the limit on the playlist. So you up to 5 videos you can play in a row. And yeah, so it's just, hit plus or trash can and select them there. and then it saves automatically. Okay, so that is how to build the playlist. As I also mentioned, there's this nice little tutorial video in here, which is how and why to use a playlist, which kind of goes, I kind of covered both those here, but if you need a refresher or want to go into more detail, there's that guy there. All right. So is that it? Everyone's good on the creation and now customization?
Yep.
Actually, kind of out of curiosity, with the emojis that they use, is there any real value to those, or is there anything you would suggest?
You mean the emoji bars like below the video itself that they can react to?
Yeah, I've used them a couple times, but I've had people like click on them. But is there any best practice for that, or is there anything you?
Yeah, no, I would say it's all about personality. Some people are really heavy into emojis. They use a lot of emojis in their communication, and that's part of who they are. And so for those people, I'd say that's what they're there for personality. And then for those that are not against, I have a lot of like financial advisors and other clients like that, and they're like adjusting their eye, like, no, I don't want emojis on my page. So that I would say it's to each their own in terms of emojis. It's just kind of like adding that customization, the color scheme, all that stuff to your page. So just that human element.
Yeah, my take on emojis real quick is that the reason why that's valuable is because it's actually the most frictionless type of call to action that we have available on that page. It's very innocuous. It's very unimposing. It's very non-threatening, right? So to get that thumbs up, to get the high five, when someone clicks that, they don't think about it. It's become part of our culture. It's become part of the way that we communicate and kind of validate other people's information because obviously of social networks and Facebook and whatnot. So the reason why I like to keep that on all my videos is because if the person does not feel like responding to me, or does not feel like emailing me back, or does not feel like video replying, at least I know, because there is tracking on that. At least I know that they have a heartbeat and that they're listening and that they're there. So if someone does click on an emoji, you'll get a real-time notification of that. Such and such person, click this emoji. It's a thumbs up. It's maybe a thumbs down. It's data. So something to consider.
Cool.
That being said, do you know which emojis have the best return?
Well, there's only one emoji bar on the video that you can add. It's either on or off.
Oh, okay. But are there certain emojis that you've seen work better than others?
So to that point, that's the subject line and stuff. So I would say camera emojis are really popular. Everyone loves the fire emoji. So I see that used very heavily. It always, it stands out. It's bright colored. So things like that, just I would say, again, emojis are a fun way of expressing yourself. So that's kind of the concept with it. Whatever you're saying in your subject lines, if you're on a Mac or a PC, you can use them on your computer as well. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. With a Mac, it's just like Control Command Spacebar, and you can drop emojis into email subject lines and things like that. So I'd say that the fire emoji and camcorder ones are pretty cool with videos.
Nice.
You guys know this is actually my favorite one. And the reason why this is my favorite one is because it conveys happiness and tech geek, because that's what we are at the end of the day. So.
I like it.
Nice.
All right. Okay. So we've kind of covered the two-thirds here: creation, customization. We're finally ready to kind of jump into distribution. Anything else before we cover this last segment?
I think we're good.
All right. Let's do it. Okay. So back into the screen share. Okay, so we have sent videos, or we're going to send these videos in a number of ways. If we're sending through Gmail or Salesforce, which is probably the most common way, it's as I kind of showed you guys earlier, either using the icon here, you can drop videos in there or record one brand new. If you create a screen recording, it's going to be available through that extension. As soon as you finish the recording, you can insert it from there. And so best practices for distribution through Gmail and Salesforce is all, as I mentioned, insert the email for tracking. If it's just one-off, so you enter one email at a time. I always recommend putting their first name on it. You can video for Bob. Hey, Bob, check out this video, something like that. So that's how you're going to insert pre-recorded stuff. Same thing in Salesforce. And if you're recording one, it's the same way. Record it here or through the Chrome extension, insert it there. As I mentioned, same thing, enter the email for tracking. If you're just sending one video to one person, it's customized for them. It's not as crucial for the tracking because you know that video was for them, and if it got watched, it was them who watched it. But I always enter emails just for best practices. So next time you email them, they're already in your system. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it in Gmail or Salesforce. We can also always come back to the Dubb website, and press this copy for email button. This is the same exact interface that's in the Salesforce, and Gmail interface. So we really don't ever actually have to come back to the Dubb website unless we're, doing a lot of customization and things like that. So once we've built that page that I've talked about, we set up our default settings, we build our call to actions, we can pretty much live within the tools that you're already using, like your Salesforce or Gmail and Chrome in general. Don't actually have to come back to the website very often. So that is how we're going to do it here within these tools. Now for text messages, as I mentioned, there is a video in here that's going to cover it in a little bit more detail, showing you kind of step by step. But overall, I just want to make sure you guys understand that you can send the link by itself. So like I can just press copy the link from either the app or the website and send the link along with some text. If I want to include the image, it requires 2 steps. So I copy the image, insert the image, then copy the link and insert the link. So it's a little bit less convenient, but sometimes we really like that image to go along with it. I would say I've seen, equal sides. They're like, oh, well, I don't like the image, or I need the image. So I'd say I don't have really strong data suggesting one direction either way. So at this point, I'd probably say it's 50-50 whether you want to include it or not. But that's how you would do it. It would be two separate steps for text messages. Now for social media like Facebook or LinkedIn, you again can just press the copy for email button here from the website and paste that into like Facebook Messenger or Instagram or anything like that. Depending on the channel, it might show up slightly different. So for LinkedIn, it's going to show up. Let me just write a new one. Before you send it, it only shows up as a link like this. It'll be the same thing in like Instagram. And once you've sent it, it will generate a still thumbnail, kind of like that. So after I send the link, that's when the thumbnail shows up. So just be aware of that. If you're sending the video through social media, it may not populate the link. Facebook's gonna be a little bit different. Facebook, I think, will populate the link or the image before you send it over. Okay, so we've talked about social media, talked about email and Salesforce. We've talked about text message. So that's how you're actually going to send these videos out. It's basically either a copy and paste into the channel you want to send or a direct insert if we have like the integration. From the mobile device, you can get the same little animated preview, have it look all fancy and stuff, just like you're sending it from your computer, just like that. There is a nice video, as I mentioned in that tutorial center, covering both of those, the text message and the email. All right, so that's the distribution. So once we've distributed those, or those are the ways we can distribute them through regular emails, text messages, and social, there's also a couple of other channels here. We were talking about broadcasting, one video to multiple people, a couple of things. So Dubb does have in-house sending capabilities, kind of a one-stop shop. We can send out one video to our entire list here. Here's one we sent to about 16,000. Very detailed tracking and analytics here. So I can see out of that 16,000, who opened it, who watched, who clicked, what percentage they watched, all that stuff. So I can either look at it here, I can download this as a report and sort it. Obviously, this is going to be a huge report with 16,000 people, but this is all that detailed analytics are available. So you can also, as I saw or showed you, filter here. So if I just want to see who clicked, or maybe I just want to see who viewed, or who viewed and clicked, whatever. That's how the analytics work and the tracking works if you're using Dubb's in-house sender. So what this means is I can connect our Gmail right to in here to Dubb. Actually, I have my Gmail connected to Dubb. Gmail's daily sending limit is a little bit smaller, so you can only send out up to 1,000 a day using Gmail. This one here was sent using our SMTP provider. So like if you guys need to connect a domain, I'm pretty sure you would have a domain you can connect here to send out larger emails. Likely you guys already have a newsletter going on. Actually, let me stop making assumptions here. Do you guys each have your own individual lists, or what does that look like? Is there like a overall list? Because I know you're in a team structure here. Is there like one master newsletter, or what does that look like?
We have our individual lists, but they would change in our circumstances. So I'll see if you get to that, but I may have a question.
Okay. So then, yeah, what we would do is maybe if you each have your own lists, you each have your own campaigns in here. And so you can send one video to your entire list at once. If it's less than 1,000, we can just do that with Gmail. If it's over 1,000, we would either have to break that list up for 1,000 a day or whatever, or we would have to connect a different email provider. So this is, like I mentioned, one way we can send a campaign, which is a one email or one video going to the list one time. There's also automations, which are workflows, drip sequences, if you will. A series of emails that will go out automatically, either based on delays or based on triggers. Like if they watched a video, you can trigger a workflow and then send them emails. The most common thing I'd say is people set up that automation, so they get contact in their CRM. We have a Zapier set up to where it sends them a Dubb video automatically. Or the automation, sorry to interrupt you there, automation's already built inside of our CRM, And as soon as the lead comes in, we have a Dubb video built in the automation in that tool. So whichever one you guys want to use, we can either send the automations from Dubb or through an existing tool. You had a question there? Or?
No, we're just brainstorming.
Just that's a lot of value right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So these are the campaigns and on automations in Dubb. You also can take a Dubb video and put it into any other tool like a MailChimp or anything like that. However, the tracking will not be as detailed. So if I put a Dubb video in a MailChimp and I send it to 1,000 people, I will see, MailChimp will show me who opened, who clicked. MailChimp still gives me all their analytics. But as far as Dubb goes, it's only going to show me the number of watches, the percentage of each watch, but it won't actually show me who's watching. So just be aware, if we're sending one video to a list of people, it is usually best to send it through Dubb so we can have that really rich analytics and reporting. And if we have to send it through another tool, we still have like the general analytics, how the video performed, just not specifically who's watching and who's clicking. So that's something to be aware of. I always recommend sending through Dubb. Sometimes though, like if we, like I want all my data in one place, that is a really common concern. We're actually working with a company called PySync right now. It's similar to Zapier, except for it pushes data in 2 directions. So that will likely resolve that issue so we can have data syncing going on multi-direction. Okay, so we're still talking about distribution. We talked about one-to-one sending through either text message or email like Gmail or social or Salesforce. And then now we've kind of talked about some campaigns here. We can either send a bulk email through Dubb, we can build out drip sequences on Dubb, or we can put videos into our existing drip sequences or campaign tools. And then now we've talked also about the tracking, which if I'm sending it through Dubb as a campaign or automation, we have tracking. If I'm sending anything one-to-one, whether it's through text or email or social, I'm going to have detailed tracking there. But if I'm sending a bulk video or automation through a third-party platform, we won't have the detailed video analytics in that case. Okay, so I think we've mostly covered distribution. Let me just recap. Okay, email, text.
Hey, Darius.
Yep.
We got a couple questions about that real quick.
Let's do it. What do you got?
So the portion that you just went over, is there a tutorial for that one?
Like the automation stuff and campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Yeah. So there's always tutorial videos. Basically anything that I always cover and anything you see on the platform, there's going to be a bite-sized video in that section. So if you see automation, if I open up over here, there's going to be a video that says automation to training or automation tutorial right here, automation training. Same thing with campaigns. There's a nice little video there, campaign management. So any section over here, there's a 5 or so minute video over here showing how it works, how to build it step by step. Absolutely.
Is there any themes you could add to your video, like for example, Christmas or something like?
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and grab a little video here. So that's part of the thing I mentioned, custom backgrounds. So that's part of the customization here. So here's a video you guys saw me record. Which, by the way, I mentioned I have some defaults. So here's what that page looks like. You saw me record that video in my Gmail, but this is what it's going to look like. It has all those kind of default settings, CTAs and stuff attached. But if I want to change this background, I would go to Design, and then under Background, I can either type in my own thing. I can either type in a word here. It's going to give me thousands of stock photos to choose from.
Okay.
If I click that, the way that works is it selects the background. You're going to see it says saved. And then now if I refresh that page, you'll see that that's applied that background back there. I can do that to each individual video page. I can also set that as a default so that all my videos have that same background.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. What else we got?
Darius, can you touch on the automation just real quick and like what practices people are using, best practices there? I think it's something that we haven't touched at all, and it might be good to spend just a minute.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. Automations are very, very powerful things. So let me jump into that one second. You share. Okay, so particularly for real estate, automation is more valuable when, obviously we get a lead. We want to call those people. If they don't answer, that's, then we put them into maybe you guys have a manual follow-up process. I've seen every real estate business, I've seen thousands at this point, the way they operate. So some people, they have a manual process where they call, they text, they call, or they put them into an automation right off the bat. So they try to call them and they're like, okay, they didn't answer. I'm going to put them into a drip. so I've seen both of those. So it depends on like how many leads you guys are dealing with, how hands-on you want to be, and things like that, to whether you're going to be manually touching those people a few times as soon as you get that contact, or if you want to immediately put them into a drip. That will kind of determine where your drip sequence starts and what the automation consists of. So let's say, for example, you're on the lazier side or you're on the more automated side. You want to do one phone call, they don't answer. You send a text, they don't reply. Okay, I'm going to put this guy in a drip. So that drip sequence is going to say, the first one has a video in it saying, hey, thanks so much for filling out the form, or wherever they came from. I'm really looking forward to getting to work with you. And here's what we do and why we do it better than anyone else. Here's your value prop. Here's your thing. Maybe a testimonial video tagged onto the playlist, and then has some call to actions at the end of it. So that video goes out, whether they watch it or not. You have a delay built in there, and then another video is going to be maybe it's a couple days, maybe it's 24, maybe it's 48 hours, whatever you want to build in there. Typically, I recommend touching someone at least once a day, especially when you get a new lead in real estate. You got to touch them at least once a day for at least like 7 days or more. If they say, hey, I'm leave me alone, then okay, that we've gotten that message. At least we've gotten them to raise their hand in some way, open the dialogue. Not the best response, but it's better than paying for a lead and having it disappear. So I mean, I've seen really aggressive campaigns like 30 touch points, 30 days at least. Every day they're calling, texting for 30 days. And those I've seen very good success with. So don't be afraid to bother people unless they're telling you, hey, don't text me or call me, then back off. Okay, so that's the kind of drip sequences we would say. I would probably do one touch point, maybe 1 to 24 hours apart, at least for the first 7 days. And then after that 7-day period, maybe you could slow it down. The idea here, though, is we want to include value. So the first one is just that introduction. Maybe the next one's a video about the team. Hey, we're the largest team in San Diego. Maybe the next one is why they want to work with you in particular, or maybe a testimonial video from a client. Maybe it's an interview with a real estate agent or like an inspector, someone that has some knowledge there. The idea here is we just want to provide value and education, build trust, and then nurture these people. That's what these are often called, is like a nurturing sequence. So the idea of it is we're not spamming them. We're not just saying buy, 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 or sell, sell, sell. We're saying, hey, look, I'm the expert in this area, and I'm going to be able to help you with your real estate needs. And here's some proof of that. And here's how I can help. And here's why you want to use me. And each video or each email in this sequence provides value in a different way. So you're not sending the same videos. That's like, as I mentioned, the bulk of the homework with video is getting those assets up front, getting over that hurdle of creating videos in general, like, oh, I'm camera shy or something. Those are typically the biggest hurdles. And then once all those things are set up, that's really when we can reap the benefits of it, and it becomes much easier and it's very automatic. Overall, I'd say that's the concept here, though, is nurturing sequences. Maybe one for buyers, one for sellers. Again, audience is very important here. So depending upon what buyer and seller would definitely be a good drip sequence to have there.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Darius. So we're almost at the bottom of the hour here. I just wanted to kind of give some concluding notes here. Obviously, this is a lot of information, and this is really a journey. Technology is just pipes. The real value here is what you guys do, which is to communicate and to build relationships and to provide value and change people's lives for the positive. So this technology is just an enabler for all of those activities. So what we recommend people to do is to go on a sort of slow and consistent journey to kind of adopt the technology and just make it part of your workflow. If you ever find that the technology is getting in your way, or it's frustrating you, or it's annoying you, and you're not really seeing the results out of it, that's not the path that we want to go. So here's kind of a very actionable list of things that I believe that you all should really do to really activate this in a kind of a mindful fashion. So number one is set up your Calendly account. Go to calendly.com, get that set up. It can be free, it can be a paid version. It doesn't really matter. The only difference between the free and the paid version is that there's a little bit of a logo on there, which I don't think really matters. So set up your Calendly account and then make sure that it syncs with your Gmail account. And what that means is that it syncs with your calendar. That way, if you have to go to the dentist, or if you have to pick up your kids, or if you're going to Lake Tahoe, you just put that in your calendar, and then that will automatically update it on your calendar page, so that when you send that video with the calendar integration on the video page, when someone books a time, it never conflicts with your calendar. Make your calendar part of your process, and really respect that, because the last thing that you want to do is to not make updates in your calendar and then have someone book that time and then respond back to them and say, I'm actually not available. I'm going to Coachella then. It's like, I'm sorry, let's reschedule. So that's the last thing that you want to do. So respect that, and people will respect you back. The second thing is to create a call to action with your Calendly link. This is critical. Everyone has to have this. Make that a default CTA. That's what I recommend. There's never a reason where you don't want to drive that. So make that a default call to action, your calendar. And that way, anytime you send a video, even if you send a quick video from the Dubb mobile app or from Gmail, it's always going to include your calendar on the bottom of that video page. Next point is to do a test. Send an SMS video. Use the Dubb mobile app. You can upload it. You can record it with the app. And just send an SMS video to a warm prospect. Maybe send it to a friend, an accountability partner, mother, father, spouse. Just get that feedback. See what it feels like to actually record a video and then send it very quickly. One of the problems that we've noticed is that historically, people record a lot of videos, but then they never do anything with them. They end up on a phone or a hard drive or an SD card, and no one ever sees those videos. The key here is to get into a cadence of sending as quickly as you possibly can. Because as we all know, when we move on and we get busy, and the second that we get into that car, we're thinking about different things. So creation and sending should all be part of a single task. So really encourage you guys to send that SMS video. If you're not yet comfortable, if you're feeling a little bit of the weirdness, imposter syndrome, you're feeling a little bit shy, you look at yourself in the eyes, do you look at your camera? If you're feeling those things, I actually recommend for you to just record 100 videos, in your car, at home. When you're recording in your car, don't do it while driving, by the way. But record those practice videos and make those your throwaway videos. In stand-up comedy, they always say your first 100 shows, they don't matter, they don't count. You have to get those out of the way. The same thing applies to video creation and video marketing. Get those videos done and be done with them, and then you'll feel comfortable. The next piece is send that LinkedIn video message. It's very easy. Get the Dubb Chrome extension, go to your laptop, go to your desktop, go find that prospect, click that Dubb icon, record a webcam video. If you're not yet comfortable, record a screen video. You can have your face in it. You can exclude your face in it, whatever you are comfortable with, but send that LinkedIn video and just get into that habit, because LinkedIn, it's a mecca for lead prospecting, for nurturing. It's so phenomenal for business. That's how Isaac and I have become friends and really shared a lot of content. LinkedIn is a great place. So I encourage you to do that. The next thing is to get inside of Gmail and record that video. Again, Dubb Chrome extension, click the Dubb icon, send that video to someone. So just get that part of your practice in the next couple of days. Highly encourage that. And then once you kind of graduated from that, I would say that phase 2 is to use the Dubb mobile app and to do a quick house tour. Record a couple of clips in that house, show the pool, show the garage, show the living room, show the fireplace, show the asbestos, show everything, and get that over to your prospects so that they have the full information. Okay. As part of phase 2, I also recommend that you create a generic calendar booking video. Darius has one. I have one. Dubb.com/book Darius. Dubb.com/book Ruben. These are our booking links. We use these every day. They are our true money makers. It's the same video, and we can send that link over and over and over again. People get to know us. They book a time in our calendar. We pitch and we sell, and we rinse and we repeat. So have your go-to calendar booking page. The next piece is have a generic prospecting video. Hey, this is Ruben. I'm a real estate agent. I work in this area. I'm a specialist. I work with buyers. I work with sellers. Here's some testimonials. I'd love to get a chance to work with you. I said it. I'd love to. Well, be careful about your script, but just get into a practice of doing that. And then I would say phase 3 is automation. That's going to take time to drive into. So what that means is you create automated workflows. We should definitely host another meeting, a seminar just like this when you guys are prepared. And what that just means is to import contacts and then to have 3 emails get sent out, not just 1. So I say we kind of drive into that a little bit later once you guys get your feet wet. So I'll open up the floor. Any questions here?
This is all great. Is there a way that we could maybe see the example of your guys' calendar booking videos just to kind of have something to base it off of?
Dubb.com/book Darius.
Perfect.
I'll
Yeah,
put the
it's actually, but when I was showing you guys earlier how it had the social proof button on, they had the calendar, and then customer success stories, and then a webinar button. That was actually that page was designed for that. We get an inbound lead. We have an irresistible offer saying, "Hey guys, I'd love to set you up with a free consultation. Click below to schedule a call with me." So that is specifically designed for that. So yeah, check that one out.
And that link is actually right here, so you guys can just jot that down and see how he does it. His is the best because he's got all the features. It
has all the kind of bells and whistles that I was talking about. It has the social proof. It has the playlist video. The one thing I have not on that particular video page is the testimonial, because I don't want to limit myself, because if I have one testimonial on there and I'm reaching out to an enterprise client, it's not going to coincide with them. So what I do is I customize that video page based on the lead. I would tag a different testimonial video on there. Like I add a case study button for our enterprise clients. I add, real estate testimonial for real estate clients. So that's what I like to do is customize that page at the last minute. Which I kind of showed you.
Testimonials. I just shared our testimonials link, and you can see what that looks like. They're very simple. One person is in their car, another person is at their desk, another person's at a co-working space, another person's walking and talking. Testimonials don't have to be really produced pieces. They can just be a human being talking and just being honest and authentic. I encourage you guys to get those videos. Text 100 people. Text 10 people that you've worked with in the past and ask them for a testimonial video. Use the reply feature. It works well.
Cool. Actually, look, Ruben, it looks like Beer Home Team got dropped out on accident.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening to this webinar here. You can watch this in the replay. This is available on YouTube. This is available on Facebook. Thank you so much for the time. And check out Dubb.com if you'd like to learn more.
Thanks, guys. Hey, Paul, I see you're in here. If you have some questions for me, buddy, I think you got my email. You ended up in here. We've got to run right now, but let's talk again after. I'll see you in a bit. All right, bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.